Hello, hello, good afternoon. Happy Friday to all of you, or whatever day you happen to be watching our training of the day. Happy March. Okay, today's March the 1st. I am excited as I feel the change in the air, the new seasons upon us, and I'm just excited for all of the amazing things that are happening. If you're new here or you're just finding the Momathon movement, I am Christina Garrett. I am honored to serve the world as a productivity coach for superstar working moms. While we have some ladies in our community who are not mothers or who are recently walking into motherhood. Our community is best designed for those women with families to provide them with the strategic planning, the tools, the plans of action that they need in order to succeed without feeling burned out and without feeling overwhelmed. Okay. Today, we're going to be focusing in on one of my favorite topics and one of you all's favorite topics, which is learning to delegate. All right. Learn to delegate. And the reason that I've been talking about this all week long is because, for the most part, if you are a woman leader, you are someone who is wrapped up, tied up, excited, doing the work that you love. Sometimes that control, sometimes that desire to see things done a specific kind of way, sometimes those feelings of being frustrated, overwhelmed, stressed out, our overthinking can cause us to do more than we have to. Okay. And so I want to this week, we talked about two of the three aspects of delegating, but today, for the next 30 to 45 minutes, I'm going to be dropping some additional knowledge and helping us to pull it all together. Okay, to pull it all together. So if you're new here, like I said, I'm Christina. For the last, trying to think about how old my children are, for the last 13 years ish, we have been dominating the motherhood space and talking all about how it's okay to love being a mom, love having a family, but sometimes the process of growing into being that person can feel overwhelming. Okay, when it comes time to make decisions, when it comes time to be more productive and execute in the ways that you've been dreaming of, there can be times when it feels like there's just not enough of you to go around. And so the trial and error that I've had to do from my own personal life has manifested into the Momathon movement, as well as one component of what I'm going to talk about today, which is the pillars of productivity. Okay. How in the world do I reclaim my time? How in the world do I make it so I'm not constantly running on fumes? How do I take this amazing, gigantic idea that I have in my mind, and I know that I'm capable of becoming this person? How do I take that and run with it? Okay. And so today, for a little while, we're going to talk about the third pillar, which is learning to delegate. I'm going to take a second and make sure that we are live in all the places. Yes, we are. And I just want to make sure that we are leaning, focusing in on the things that matter the most. So often we're spending time and we're doing the things that really don't make for the success, that really don't make for the success that is inevitable, that is guaranteed. Okay. I want to work on a project. I want to walk a certain direction and know that I know that I know that it's going to work. I don't just want to like half do anything. I want to know that what I'm putting my hands to is going to work. I'm going to see the fruit coming from this activity, coming from what I said I was going to create. Like, I want to see that come to life. And I had to realize for myself, maybe not for you yet, but for myself, that I can't be the Christina that I envision in my mind being if I'm micromanaging, if I'm doing all the stuff, if I'm being dedicated to taking over the world, but then also still wanting to letting my actions show. Okay. You may not want to, but your actions show that you're insisting on things being a certain kind of way. All right. And so for a little bit today, we're just going to spend some time together. Hey, everyone, we're going to spend some time together, just communicating and considering what would it look like for me to take half the things off of my plate? What would it look like if I could communicate better with my spouse, with my loved one, that these are the things that I'm struggling with, that I need your support with? What would it look like for myself that I get to create a little bit more ease and flow in my daily life because I actually believe that I have people in my corner who want to support me? Okay, who want to support me, who want to value the work that we are doing together. Okay. And so make sure I'm live on Instagram too. Hey everyone. For a little while, we're just going to communicate that. We're going to work on the 3 elements of learning to delegate. To if you don't walk away with anything else other than a renewed level of self-awareness, okay? A renewed level of self-awareness. I was coaching with one of my clients this morning who happens to be a therapist, and I was sharing with her about doing troubleshooting on any areas in your life where you accidentally have some entitlement. Okay, this is like some inner work that we might not always think about doing until we get to a certain place in our lives. I asked her, where is entitlement showing up in your world? Where is it showing up? Okay. This may show up in such a place as in your relationships. You might have some entitlement show up in your business and how you do that. You might have some entitlement showing up in, I should be this weight. I should be at this capability. I should be able to go ahead and walk forward and automatically have this in front of me. But what if we toss out the shoulds? What if we toss out any ideas that things should be a specific kind of way and become okay? Good morning. And we become okay with settling into, I have to build this. I have to create this. I'm okay with doing the work so that in the future, hey there, so that in the future, I'm not feeling lost or stuck or, just doing things and throwing it at the wall and not really sure what's going to work. Okay. So I want us to just sit with this for a little bit. Like, can we sit with there's no shoulds? Can we sit with I'm going to toss out my shoulds? This should be easier than this. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be this challenging. And we take the shoulds, the entitlements, into multiple areas of our lives. We don't just do it once in one area. We do it in multiple places. Multiple areas. Okay. And so we insist on leaning in a specific direction instead of believing in the better, instead of believing in the capabilities. We will take it all on for ourselves and then feel frustrated at the end of the day when it seems like my backpack, my life backpack that I'm carrying around feels so heavy. Why does it feel like it's weighed down on me so much? It's because I chose to pick it up, put it in my book bag, and carry it on. What if I decided to opt out of that? What if I decided today or someday that this was going to be my shift of perspective? Okay. I decide I'm going to do something different, that I am able and capable of stretching my wings and becoming someone that I didn't even realize I could become. Okay. So much of the shoulds can be discouraging. Yes, they can, because we've had an idea in our minds of what it's supposed to look like. I dare to say that the seasons of life that we're in right now, we never pictured that they would be like this. Be like this in a good way, be like this in a challenging way. Okay. Sometimes I think, wow, I didn't think my life, like when I started Momathon, it was a blog. It was a blog, right? It wasn't anything over the top. Then eventually I started a Facebook page. I had no forecasting whatsoever that Momathon would move from being a blog to this other stuff. Okay. So now that you walk into a new season, whatever your new season is, y'all share this with your friends, share this with your business bestie. Whenever you walk into a new season, you have an idea about how you should be experiencing that season. But what if we decide to just take the shoulds for today and place them to the side? while you guys are walking with me for these few minutes, can we take our expectations and our entitlement to how this season of being married or raising children or all of this, building a business, if you're a business owner, wave at me in the chat, okay, so we know who you are. All of these different elements, I feel like it should be different. Instagram, the self-care pages that I follow tell me it should be different. All of these different elements of my life, I feel like I should be experiencing this as a different person. But what if, good morning, what if you decide that you're going to lay that aside, lay any entitlement, lay all those expectations to the side and show up today, just today for this 30 minutes with a clean slate? Show up today, releasing the expectations that some part of my life should be a certain kind of way, and embrace I'm willing to build it. What we're going to talk about today, delegating, is something that has to be built. It's something that has to be cultivated, added in. It has to happen. No one is just going to wake up in the morning with this renewed enlightenment. Like it's just going to automatically happen. We're just going to let that go. Just for a little while today. And then after the live is over, you can decide what you'll pick up, what you'll leave sitting down. Okay? And so let's talk about delegating, all right? If you haven't shared with your girlfriend yet, let's do that, okay? Delegating unnecessary tasks is one part of the pillars of productivity, okay? There are 4 pillars total. This is how we take the multi-layered existence of your life and we organize it to make it flow together in a way that works for your season. Okay. The season of life that you're in now will be different a year from now. It'll be different 2 years from now, 3 years from now. It's going to change. Okay. So I want you to be okay with these changes. It's going to happen. But for now, we take the pillars of productivity and we use it to create a flow that works for today. Because I really don't want to wait until like my kids are grown and stuff to stretch my wings. I really don't want to wait until my kids are grown to feel rested. I might take a nap today in between my coaching sessions. You know, I don't want to feel like I can't have something for myself, work that I love, right? Passion that I love, where I'm sitting in this place of being who I believe I should be. We all should feel that. And I don't want to wait until my children are grown and going to college, stretching their wings to feel like I'm allowed to stretch mine. Okay, so from this place and for this reason, we talk about delegating, okay? We talk about the art of delegating, how beautiful it is to have some things that are on your plate and for you to work on releasing them, to work on releasing them to somebody else for some other reason, to give it away, okay? And so let's get into the juice. Delegating by definition. Okay, by definition, it means to entrust a task or responsibility to another person. Typically, this person is less senior than yourself. This does not mean the person is less important than you or they have anything less to do than you do. It just means that in this particular area, in this lane, they are less senior than you in this area. Okay, for example, where all of the kids' medical stuff, this is a random thing, where all the kids' medical stuff is, and this, and this, and all this added stuff, I call to make all of the doctor's appointments. It's very rare that my husband is the one who does that part, right? That's just part of our lane. If I were to need to give that away to him for some reason, he might need to know where all the stuff is, okay? So we're just leaning in that way. It means to entrust a task or responsibility to another person. Now, we're going to dispel a couple myths, okay? One of those is that if I choose not to delegate things, most of us want to, but some of us choose not to delegate, okay? If you're one of those people, then you might need to do some internal investigating. Okay. You may need to do some checklists and ask yourself why. I believe if you are a believer, like I rock with Jesus, I'm a God girl, and I follow the word when it comes to my life, right? And learning from that. And so it says that in 1 Corinthians 12:17-20, it's a very familiar passage of scripture. And it talks about if the whole body were an eye, where would the hearing be? If the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But in fact, God has placed the parts of the body, every one of them, just as he wanted them to be. For if they were all one part, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, but one body. And the eye cannot say to the hand, I don't need you. And the head cannot say to the feet, don't need you. I don't need you. One component of delegating is that we have to sit with and be okay with not telling another part of our family that we don't need them. I know you're saying, Christina, I would never do that. Christina, that's not me. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I want the help. I welcome the help. But some of us have a tendency to subconsciously communicate a lack of need for another person. We tell our children, it's easier if I just do it myself. We tell our husbands, don't worry, I got it. When they do it and they do it their way and not your way, you decide, I'm not going to ask you again, or you're not responsible enough to be the person that engages in that way. But refusing to delegate is more than just a desire or a preference. It's a commandment. It's a commandment that every part of the body, every part of the family, they all have their own part, and you cannot go to another part of the body or another person in the family and tell them what? I don't need you. Okay. And so here's the thought that drives our session today is that most of us are delegating, or we want to, but we're trying to give away the wrong tasks. You want to give away the wrong stuff. Okay. Here's how we know this to be true. Because I am a multifaceted person, okay? I am Stephen Garrett's super hot wife, okay? That's why I'm a little tired today. I am Stephen Garrett's super hot wife. I am the homeschooling matriarch most days of the week of the Garrett 5, okay? I am a wife first. I am a mother first, okay? I cannot delegate loving on, supporting, and being a cheerleader for my husband. That's something I can't delegate. We don't do the whole work wife hard stop, right? We don't do the whole somebody else champions harder for you than I do. Nobody else should be able to believe more, support more, cheerlead for, encourage, give words of affirmation, tell him he looks good and smells good more than me. When my husband gets dressed up, I'm like, boy, you look like money. You just look like you walking in prosperity. Abundance is on you. You look good. Right? And he's walking out from the gas station. The women just turn and look. Long camel coat. But I told him first. Okay? I told him first. In addition to being a mom, right? Like working on slowing down and listening more, even though it can be exasperating sometimes, right? We still talking about this? Y'all got another dad joke to tell me? All of these things. Like, I can't delegate away listening to my kids. I can't delegate being present with them for these monumental occasions. Any of my kids are doing something great, I'm going to be right there. I'm sure that you all are the same way. Okay. But there are also components of our homeschooling journey, for example, that I can delegate. When my 3 oldest children became high schoolers or turned into teenagers, I said, woo, this math is not mathing. I got to find you guys a teacher for your math, for this algebra, this geometry. This is not my life skill. That's the way that I delegated that. But you cannot delegate the most important things. Okay. I love. Like, if you guys have seen the pictures of the Momathon conference, which is the end of October, if you want details, DM me. End of October in Atlanta. We have information coming out to the email list. Okay. with all of that being said, you guys have seen the pictures, and it's like 100 BIPOC mamas, Black and brown moms gathering and worshiping and dancing and laughing and joy. I love being Mamathon Christina. It's a vibe. Okay. It's like I love pulling up and getting room service and chauffeur service and all of those things that happen on conference weekends and all of this. I love, 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 love it. I love traveling. I love catching flights. I love 4 or 5-star hotels. I love it. I love going to speak. I love getting paid lots of money to speak. I love it. Okay. I love coaching my client. I love this work. But I cannot love being Mamathon Christina more than I love being the woman I need to be for my family. Okay. So some of us, we struggle in that way. Some of us are struggling in that way because we're trying to distinguish the difference between the two. Okay. And so we're going to get down to our breakdown today, and I'm going to go make me some lunch and relax for a little while this afternoon before my next coaching session. But all week I've been talking about as you shift into a mode of delegating, okay, as you shift into that, what does delegating require of you as a mom leader? What does this shift of how we think, how we execute, how we show up in the world, what does that look like? Okay, from where we are to where we are going. Okay, so delegating requires 3 things. If you got your notebook, delegating requires 3 things. Delegating requires time, it requires training, and it requires trust. Now, earlier this week, I went more in depth into time. I went more in depth into training. And today we're touching on trust as well. If you're on the email list, you can, I'm going to send out all 3, right? All 3 today or tomorrow, so that you guys can just go through and listen to all of them. But for today, for the sake of it being Friday, at my husband's job, they call it Friday Forum, or like, an official time they come together. I'm going to touch on each one of the 3. Okay. So if you missed it, if you want the snapshot version, then you can just tune in today and we'll get you all together. All right. Okay. So delegating requires first time. Okay. For many of us, we have been the primary problem solvers in our lives for years, not for a month or 2, not for just a little while. We have been the primary problem solver in our life for years. Okay. You've always been the person that put the fire out. You've always been the person that tried to be reliable. You've always been the person that tried to have healthy boundaries, whether you did good at it or you didn't do so well. Okay. You've always tried to be the person that helps the fire out, helps to calm the chaos, helps to show up for others. And we love that about you. We love that you're that friend. We love that you're that daughter. We love that you're that support agent. And so since you have been this person for years, though, because it's kind of become a part of your identity to be a problem solver, sometimes we got to ask ourselves, if I've been doing this for years, what makes me feel like me seeing a mental health post, right? Mental health post, a self-care post, all of this. What makes me think as a leader that I can undo all of the yeses that I have given away for the last year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Have I been saying yes or being the problem solver for years? It's a heavy hit. Okay. That's something I got to own up to a little bit. I got to kind of sit with that for a second, that I was fine as a stay-at-home mom. I got it. I'll take care of it. It's working. Now that Mamathon has moved from a blog to a multicultural, multinational coaching and consulting agency, it's not what it used to be. So now I'm like, I have one-to-one coaching clients and I do corporate workshops. I'm speaking for Hyatt this month in a couple weeks. The Housing Authority, Essence Magazine. This is what we do now. This is our 9th year hosting the Mamathon conference. Somebody asked me last year, is this your first? No, we're in year 8. No, we're going to see year 9. It's just what we do now. We rinse and we repeat. We just do it again and again. But this is who I am now, not who I was in that last season. So maybe though, maybe just maybe, your family has gotten accustomed to this last version of who you are. And at that time, you were fine with it too. You were fine with being the person that put the fire out. You were fine with being the person, even if you didn't like it, you were okay with it because you continued to say yes. But now that we're breaking up with doing all the things and only doing what will get us to our destinations the fastest, be okay with it taking time for you to release what you used to hold tight to. You know how they say, like, if you gain weight when you're pregnant, and it's like it took you 9 months to grow the baby, give yourself at least 9 months to get the weight off. Can we think about it like that? Yeah. Like, can we think about it like I've been saying yes for 5 years. Maybe I could at least give myself 6 months of like breaking up with the old me and getting accustomed to the new me. Okay. And so it takes time for you to take the handcuffs off, take your sunglasses off to the things that weren't working. You were blind to what wasn't working. Maybe you are a yes person, a people pleaser. Maybe you were so enamored with perfectionism in different areas of your life. So now that you are trying to break up with that, it takes time for us to release this. It takes time. Okay. All right. Let's move on to number 2. Delegating takes time. It also takes training. Delegating requires training. Okay. I am pretty sure for the most part, at this juncture, we are not the only people that live in our house. Okay. We're not the only people that live in our house. So now you don't just have your stuff going on, you also have everybody else's stuff going on. You also have everybody else's things, everyone else's needs, everyone else's to-do lists that your kids have for you. Mom, I need help with this. I need you for this. All of these things. You have all of these multi-layered situations in your life going on. Okay. So you get the opportunity to teach them how to love you. You get the opportunity to teach them how to support the family vision. And that is so much more than, it's so much more than just the basics, right? It is teaching your children how to be finishers. It is training your staff, right? If you have staff like cleaning service, virtual assistant, regular assistant, employees, some of you guys have all of this going on and then some. Okay. So you got to teach them how to handle tasks to completion in your place. Delegating requires training. You can't just wake up in the morning and decide, I don't want to do this anymore. And you haven't communicated the transference of power to someone else. We have to make sure that we are adjusting accordingly and training. Okay. And so as we begin to configure all of this, we're teaching our loved ones to support us. We are learning how to automate some things, right? One of my clients, she was like, I'm really loving like learning systems and all of this. How do we make it easier? That I don't have to continue to come back and say it again and say it again and do it again over and over and over constantly all the time. So I want to make sure that I'm strategic in training others to help. Getting them used to the idea that I don't have it. I'm not good. I do need to give this away. Okay. So you might have to make an itemization of all the things that are on your plate that maybe you don't want to be there like it was. Okay. Maybe you want to give some of those things away. So delegating takes time for you to undo yeses, what you said you were fine with doing. And delegating also requires training. Teaching your children to be finishers can be a challenge when you yourself struggle with finishing. Teaching your kids to be responsible and focused and determined and dedicated to an idea or something can be hard. when you yourself don't finish what you said you were going to finish? Okay, we got to make the configurations. All right, number 3, delegating requires trust. And so all week I've been talking about this, but we hadn't got a chance to get to part number 3. And so we're going to tap into that today. Okay. It can be very challenging to trust others. It can be really challenging to trust others with our livelihood, with our futures, with our potential. It can be really hard to make those adjustments. Okay. However, I want to challenge you today that the people in your circle love you. They love you. Your husband, he loves you. Your kids, wild as they might be, they love you too. The people that are in at least your immediate circle really do want to see you thrive. Now, you could go out and think about the man and they that they talk about on social media all the time, that they are haters or they keep you back from such and such or whatever. Okay? Those people, we're not talking about them. About the people that are connected to you, that you're in covenant relationship with regarding success. And you have to choose to believe. You have to learn how to trust again. You have to choose, mama, you have to choose to believe that the people in your life really do want what's best for you. They really do value you. They really do think you're the cat's meow. They really do think that you got it going on. Even when you tripping and you got an attitude and you have all this stuff, they really do value who you are. And they want what's best for you. They want to see the family doing well. They want to help mom. A lot of times we refuse the help. In what ways? In what ways am I rejecting that? And I need to learn how to trust and believe again. I also want to challenge you all today that even if it didn't work before, just as a result of you hearing me today, you're becoming a different person. And when you take action as a different person, you're going to create different results. You're not going to be the person that you were anymore. Okay? You're now different, so your results are going to be different. You're going to get to stretch your wings in some new ways because now I'm going back to try again. Now I'm knowing that I need to communicate with you all better, that I need to tell you better. I need to love you better. I need to be able to itemize out how I need the support, how I need the encouragement, how I need it is a completely different ball game than what we're saying before. Okay? So when we think about delegating, it takes time to undo those yeses. It takes time to step back and say, you know what, thank you, but no thank you. I'm deciding that I want to do something different. It takes training so that we can teach our kids how to finish projects, that we can train our additional support. Okay, if I need to hire a cleaning service, and sometimes my cleaning lady, she may come only for like my kitchen and bathrooms. Or she might only come in and do, a couple of rooms. I might not hire her to do my entire house every time she comes. She might just do those very scary areas, right? All of that is allowed. You're allowed to create your own way. But I needed to tell her what I was looking to have done. Okay, so finally, delegating takes trust. Are you willing to try again? Are you willing to believe again that my family wants what's best for me? They really do want to help me. They really do want to step in and just love and encourage me and push me to be who I'm supposed to be. They want this for me. My husband wants me to be rested. He benefits when I'm rested. I might need to ask him for help. How do I convey this in the best way so that it works? Okay. But in order for you to unload half of the things that are on your plate, in order for you to give some of this stuff away, it's going to take some time For one, because you've been okay with being a problem solver for years. Two, it takes training. You got to be willing to teach what kind of support you need. And then three, it takes trust. You have to be willing to try and believe again. Okay? And so, what can only you do? What can you give away to somebody else? What can you analyze for yourself? Do some troubleshooting, some homework for yourself, and say, you know what? I believe my family wants to help me, but I don't want to ask again. Or I believe that I have what it takes, but I don't want to teach my family how to do it. That takes too long. Like, just do the homework. See what thoughts come up for you. As we seek to become the women who had that whole soft life thing, like that has to be built and generated and cultivated. Okay. It doesn't just happen on its own. Okay. All right, everybody. That's it for today. As always, my DMs are open if you would like to connect. If you have questions about coaching, right? And you're like, okay, Christina, I love the work that you're doing. I've been enjoying seeing you grow over the course of time. I know that God is calling me to some new things. I know that I'm being urged and pulled to stretch my wings and do something new, but I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to get it done with all of the things happening in my universe. Okay. My favorite kind of mom to work with, our ideal clients here in the Momathon space are women who have a multi-layered living existence and experience. I mean, you're somebody's wife, you're somebody's mama, you have some amazing ideas that are meant to change communities. Okay, you know that you belong at the next level on the stage. You're looking to book the speaking engagements and be called on as a leader and an expert. Like, this is where you see yourself going. But maybe in the way of mapping it all out, it feels a little confusing, or you have some drama that's coming up, some overwhelm, some overthinking that keep you from making progress. Okay. So if that's you, I invite you to come and reach out to me via DM. Just shoot me a message. Say, Christina, I want to set up a coffee chat to talk about coaching. Okay. We have a couple different options. We got 3 months or 6 months. But I usually push for my clients to join and work with me for 6 months. It usually takes that amount of time. Okay. I have one client shining like a star. She was just on one of the major daytime TV shows for in her state in Florida. And they're like, they already want me back. And I looked at her today and felt emotional. And I don't know if she's going to see this or not, but she probably saw me. And I did tell her this. I felt emotional watching her because I had never seen her look more settled. Like with all the things that she has, a busy family and ministry and so many layers. And I had never looked at her and seen her more settled. Like the difference between when she came and we started working together and who she was in that moment. I was like, look at you. I said, you just look so calm. I said, even with all the things still happening in your life, she looks so much more grounded. And so I think that's what it's all about, is learning how to create the movement, how to adapt accordingly and grow something major without losing track of what matters most. Okay. So that's what I am all about. Those are the ladies that I'm looking for this year. You have a whole lot of stuff going on. We don't just want, I want chore charts for my kids. That's not the core of what we do here. We're talking about delegating today, but that's not the core of what we do here. The mission of Momathon is to help you to move into those spaces while prioritizing the people and the things that matter most in your life. Okay. So if I can help you, if I can support you, then I am excited to connect with you and talk about coaching magic. You can just send me a DM and let's figure out what you want to create this year. Let's hear about your goals. Let's brainstorm together, and then I can share more ways that I can support you. Okay. All right. I love you guys dearly, and we will see you next time.